Hi everybody, welcome to Josie Knots Crochet. I'm Crystal and today I'm going to show you how to make the Boho Floral Poncho Wrap. Now I call this a poncho wrap because it's kind of like a shawl, it's kind of like a poncho. It is more like a wrap. This is what our squares are going to look like. This square can be made with any yarn, any hook size that you wish. This particular square right here is just as big as my hand. This one's made with 100% 4-weight cotton and a 6mm hook. Today, doing the tutorial for this, the yarn that I'm going to be using is Siphonia. It is a sport weight yarn. The recommended hook size is a 3mm. This color is Morado. I got this yarn at Hobby Lobby, but I actually got it on clearance. So this particular color is discontinued color, but I'm sure there's other shades of purple or whatever you want. This is a mercerized cotton, 100% cotton. What you can do is essentially use any yarn and any hook. It's a square, so it doesn't really matter what you would like to use. So with this yarn, we're going to be using a 4.25mm hook. I'm not going to go as tiny as a 3 because I want it to be a little bit more flowy and drapey for the projects that I'm working on, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing that we are going to do is chain 8. So make a slip knot. And we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So what we're going to do with those 8 is we're going to make a slip knot, or we're going to slip stitch it to the beginning to make a ring. And we are going to put 16 single crochets into that ring. 16 single crochets. Okay, so we've got our slip stitch to join, chain 1, and 16 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and get to your 16 and I will meet you at the end. Okay, now that we've got our 16 single crochets into this ring, we are going to slip stitch to the first to join. Now go ahead and count to make sure you have those 16. We're going to put double crochets in every single one of these. So if you are off by one, then your square is not going to come out properly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain up 4. This is going to count as your first double crochet and a chain 1 space. And then we're going to put a double crochet right into that next stitch. Chain 1, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, whoops, and double crochet into the next stitch. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Will start to look like this. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and you'll go all the way around. Okay, go ahead and do that and I will meet you back at the end. Okay, so now that you are at the end, count your double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Go ahead and chain 1 and then slip stitch to the top of the third chain to join. Alright, and so now for round 3. Round 3, we're going to be making the petals for this. So you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that chain space. And for the petals, we're going to be working in the chain spaces. Let me show you the first. What we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. That's going to count as our first double crochet. And we are going to put 2 more double crochets into that same space. All right, don't chain 1. We're going to go into this chain space and we're going to do a single crochet. All right, now into this next space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 3. And we're going to put 3 double crochets right into that same space. So the first space that we did the double crochets 3 in, we're going to finish off with the second of the double crochets. It's a little bit easier than trying to slip stitch all the way up, and I think it's a little bit of a neater look. So go ahead and complete this. You're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Into the next space, you're going to put a single crochet. Single crochet, and that's your mini repeat. Double crochets, and 1, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and then a single crochet into the next space. Go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back at the end. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 3. How we're going to finish that is to go ahead and put your last single crochet into that last space, and then we're going to add our next 3 double crochets into this space to finish that off. So 1, 2, and 3. Now instead of chaining 3, the join that we're going to do is a double crochet join. Because we're chaining 3 typically, a double crochet has a height of 3. So what we're going to do is go ahead and yarn over, find the top of the 3rd chain, and go ahead and put your double crochet. Now, into this space, this is going to be the first part of the first stitch of our row 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, okay. So we're not chaining up 1. What we're going to do is go ahead and put our hook right back into that space, pull up a loop, and we're putting a single crochet. All right, so that's our single crochet. Now chain 3. Into the top of this petal, we are going to put 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. It's not another petal, even though it has the same stitches as one, but this is where we're going to start making our square. Oops. So, through double crochet, chain 3, and then into this one, we're going to put a single crochet. Chain 3, and then you're going to put here, just like here, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets is going to go into this spot. You are going to chain 3, single crochet. So essentially you're going to have 4 corners, and then each side is just going to have a single crochet hanging onto those petals. All right, so go ahead and finish that, and I will meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so now that we are at the end of the round, we've already chained 3. This is our single crochet. We're just going to slip stitch right into that stitch. Just like that. And that is how we have started our square. So the next round, what we're going to do, it's actually very simple. It's going to be all double crochets with corners. And how we're going to do that is we are going to first, well, all double crochets plus a few front post double crochets. We're going to chain up 2, and we are going to front post double crochet around this single crochet. So yarn over, put your hook behind the stitch, yarn over and pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that first stitch is your front post double crochet. Now into this chain 3 space, we are going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now into our next 3 double crochets, we're going to put 1 double crochet in each. 1, 2, and 3. Now into that corner space, same thing, we're going to put 3 double crochets, but we're only going to chain 2. Like I said, we are working to make our corners. So it's going to make it a little bit more of a square instead of a little bit rounded. 1, 2, 3. So here we are. Here's what you should look like. Got a front post double crochet, 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, 3 double crochets on top of these 3, so 1 in each stitch, 3 double crochets in the corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Starting on this side, we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch, 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, front post double crochet, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then a corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Go ahead and do that all the way around, and I will meet you back at this side. Okay, so now that we are at the end of the round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of the front post double crochet. Now when we do that, we are going to start the next round by slip stitching into that next double crochet. And that's where we're going to start our round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where we're going to start our round 6. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 4. And just like in here, that chain 4 is going to count as your first double crochet as well as your chain space. All right, skip a stitch. Into the next stitch, we're going to make a double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch. Into the next stitch, we're going to do another double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch. Into the next stitch, double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch. Now you should be at the last double crochet before the corner, and you're going to stick a double crochet in there. Now to work our corners, it's going to be pretty easy. I mean, simple, of course. Chain 1, stick a double crochet right into that corner space. Chain 2, 1 double crochet again into that same corner space. Chain 1. And then we're going to put our next double crochet into the first double crochet of this side. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, and we're going to do that all the way across. Chaining 1, skipping a stitch, double crocheting into the next. Now you'll know, of course, if your count is off, if you get to the end and you're off stitches, To keep you going on the right track, what you're going to notice is once you get into the middle, this front post double crochet, you're not working into that. We're skipping that. So that's the stitch you're skipping, and then working into the other one. And we're just going to go all the way around like I did when we started. And go ahead and finish that all the way around what I've just showed you, and I will meet you back all the way around, and I will meet you right back here. Okay, so now that we are at the end of this round, we've got our last double crochet and our last chain one. We're going to slip stitch to the top of the third chain right over here, making sure not to go into the fourth one, and then we won't have our space. Now for the last row, all we're going to do is put single crochets. So it's going to be chain one, single crochet into the double crochet, single crochet into the chain space, single crochet into the next double crochet. We're going to complete that all the way around our corners. We're going to have one single crochet, chain two, one single crochet. If you like this tutorial, please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little notification bell if you like. Go ahead and share it. It's ideal if we watch the video all the way through. Subscribe so that you can see the remainder of the videos, the projects that I'm going to be doing with this square, and I hope to see you again next time. Once you finish all of those, this is what your square is going to look like. So we've got all of our rounds, our flowers, corners, first rows double crochet, and then a fillet row, and then single crochets all the way around. All right. The join that we're going to be using today is created by Joanna Lindell of Boho Crochet. I will go ahead and leave her website in the description box. Her join is the Twin Petals join, and it is in a chart. So we're going to be using the chart today to go ahead and join our squares. And it's going to look a little bit like this. So here's how we're going to do it. This is the twin petal join. The joins are going to be in the chain threes. These double crochet 2 together clusters and 3 together clusters are all going to be creating our petals. All right, so let's get started on that. To start the border on our first square, we're going to go all the way around our first square and then start joining together on our next squares. To begin, we're going to start with a standing partial double crochet into that corner space. We're going to make our first partial into that space, and then this is going to be double crochet 3 together cluster. So we're going to do a partial in this corner, and then at this first stitch, we're going to add in 2 more partials to create a double crochet 3 cluster. So just like that. So one of them is going to be in the corner, and then the other 2 are going to be in the first space of the side. Chain 3. And then we're going to do a double crochet 2 together cluster into this first stitch again, so into that same space. 1, 2, and pull through. Now we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and into this 4th stitch, we're going to do another double crochet 2 together cluster. 1, 2, we go, and then again, chain 3 into that same stitch. We're going to do another double crochet 2 together cluster. That's going to be our mini repeat for each side. Okay, so we're going to go skip 3, double crochet 2 together cluster, chain 3, double crochet 2 together cluster in the same stitch. Skip 3 in the 4th stitch, double crochet 2 together cluster, chain 3, double crochet 2 together cluster, and that's where we're going to end. So go ahead and go all the way to the end, and I will meet you back at this side. Okay, so now that we're at the end, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to turn the corner, and then you can finish the square off. All right, so to turn the corner, what we're going to do is just like the others, we're going to skip 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch, which should be your last stitch, we are going to put a 2 double crochet cluster. 1, 2 together, chain 3, and now we're going to do the 3 double crochet cluster, but 2 of those is going to be into that same stitch, and the last one is going to be in the corner stitch. Okay, so it's 3 together, but it's spread out over 2 stitches. So you've got 2, chain 3, 2, with the last one being into the corner. All right, so now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to do this same exact thing all the way over here. So we're going to put our first partial double crochet into the corner, and then into the first stitch we're going to put 2 more partial double crochets, and we are going to create a double crochet 3 together cluster, chain 2, and then double crochet 2 together cluster in that same stitch. And now we are right back to the side. We're going to do the same exact thing. So let me show you again. In the corner, our last twin petals, double crochet 2 together, chain 3, 2 together, skip 3 stitches into the 4th and the last stitch on the side. You're going to put your double crochet 2 together cluster, chain 3, double crochet 2 partials, and the last partial is going to be in the corner. All right, pull those through, chain 6, double crochet 3 together cluster here, but the first partial again is in the corner. The next 2 are in that first stitch, chain 3, double crochet 2 together cluster. So now you're going to skip 3 stitches, and we're going to start this over, skipping 3 stitches, double crocheting 2 together cluster, and then so on and so forth. So go ahead and go all the way around the square, and I will meet you back at this corner. Okay, so now that we're at the end of our first square, I've got my first 2 double crochet cluster into that last stitch. We're chaining 3, putting 2 more in there, but not finishing it off. Oops. And then we're putting our last one right into the corner space. We're chaining 6. Now those 6, of course, should be on the corner, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the double crochet 3 together. All right, so just like that, go ahead and cut your yarn. Close that off. And now we are going to start working on another square, but joining at the same time. Okay, so starting in the corner with our new square, remember we're going to do a standing partial double crochet right into that corner space. and then 2 more into that first stitch. Pull through all. And now here is where we're going to start our join. Okay, we're pulling through all, and then we're going to chain 1. We're going to take our next square and we're going to slip stitch through the chain 3 space. So that's basically our second chain. Chain 2, that's our second one. And then we're going to go one more, chain 1. We're going to come back to the square and we're going to put our 2 double crochet 2 together clusters right into that stitch. And that's our first join. So we're going to go all the way across. Okay, so moving on to the next one, remember we're skipping 3 stitches into the 4th stitch. We're going to do again a double crochet 2 together cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, right into that stitch. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, pull through, chain 1, grab the next petal space in your joining square, and go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, back into here, the same stitch we worked into. We're going to put our next double crochet 2 together cluster. All right, just like that. Into the 4th stitch, again, this is your repeat across the side. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Into that stitch, we are putting a 2 double crochet cluster. Chain 1, finding the next chain 3 space on the joining square, slip stitch, chain, and a double crochet 2 together cluster. So now when you get to the end of this row, it's going to be pretty easy to do the corners. So let me show you. This is what it's going to look like for the corner. Okay, we're just going to be moving all the way down to the end and working our corner the exact same way as we did in our square. But remember, we had that chain 6 in the corner. That's where we're going to join. So we're going to do chain 2, slip stitching into the chain 6 space, which is our 3rd chain, and then we'll chain 3 again and then finish our corner. So we're going to go all the way around the next square because we were not joining anything, because you've already got your join on this one side. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to teach you how to join one here, also attaching into the corners on this side. Okay, so now to join in the corner spaces, what we're going to do is we've done our last, or our first part of the corner. We've done our 3 double crochet together. We've got a chain 2, and now we're going to put our 3rd chain into this corner space and this corner space. So how we're going to do that is we're going to go through like this, through like that, and a nice slip stitch all the way through, and chain 3. Okay, so now we've connected them at the corner just like this, and when we come in on this side or this corner, we're going to go ahead and put our chain space in the center of those at the same time, and they're all going to intertwine. Right into the corner, the first partial 3 double crochet together, and then 2 double crochet together. One, oops, I almost forgot to join. So we chain our 1, slip stitch into our joining space, chain 1 more, and then finish our petal with our 2 double crochet together. Alright, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th one. Chain 1. So you're going to continue. All the way around. You can join at the corners. When you put a square here, you're going to go ahead and join at the ends. Alright, so when we're joining our squares for our poncho, essentially we're going to have 3 big squares conformed of 9 squares. So we look at these little squares, okay?
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Jolie Knots Crochet. Hit share, go ahead and share with your friends, or you can hit that little bell to get notifications when new patterns release.